Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Let me introduce ourselves. My name Adjie Negoro, and my friend was Thalia Putri, Muhammad Anugrah Pangestu, Kiagus Muhammad Rizky, and Bintang Thandika Pradana. So, today in this presentation, we will discuss about adjective clause. First, we will explain to you about what is adjective clause. Then, we will explain about the characteristic of adjective clause. It's so important for us. Finally, you will know how to use this adjective clause. And without much longer, let's get started.
Okay, thanks Adjie. I will discuss about the adjective clause. Adjective clause is usually called a relative clause. Clause which means a series of words, and adjective which means adjective. So, an adjective clause is a sentence that has an adjective. This adjective clause serves to explain the noun or pronoun in the main clause. Adjective clause or relative clause is one of the most important parts of grammar because it is often used and plays a role in providing more detailed information in a sentence. Adjective clause is a clause that cannot stand alone, dependent clause, which function to modify nouns or pronouns in complex sentence. Adjective or relative clause must also be combined with relative pronouns and relative adverb, consisting of that, where, when, who, whose, and which. Example: the boy who was angry beat his friend's hand. The next, a 70-year-old man whose house was recently struck by lightning said he lost everything. Okay, that's all the material I can confess. Then it will be delivered by Muhammad Anugrah Pangestu. Thank you.
Okay, now I want to present about relative adverb and also the example of adjective clause. The first is relative adverb. Relative adverb is usually used to connect an independent clause using an adjective clause. There are three types of relative adverb. The first is relative adverb of place, where, and the second is relative adverb of time, when, and the last is relative adverb of reason, why. Now the example of adjective clause. As we known before, adjective clause are the way of joining two sentences. Usually adjective clause is start with adjective clause marker. In here we have two example. The first example, we have two clauses here. In the first clause is I want the book, and the second clause is the book had already been checked out. To joining these two clauses, we have to find the same noun from these two clauses. In the first clause, I want the book, the noun is the book. And in the second clause, the book had already been checked out, the noun is the book. So the noun from these two clauses is the book. Now we just need to find the conjunction for this sentence. Before that, we have to know that the noun from this sentence is included in person category or non-person category. The noun from this sentence is the book, so it is included in non-person category. So the best conjunction that we can use for this sentence is which, because which is used for a thing. So the sentence will be like this: the book which I wanted had already been checked out. And then the second example, we have also two clauses here. The first clause is Manchester City owner is Sheikh Mansour, and the second clause, Manchester City won the Premier League for the sixth time. The same as before, we just need to find the same noun from these two clauses. And the same noun from these two clauses is Manchester City. And now we just need to find the conjunction for the sentence. But before that, in the first clause, Manchester City owner is Sheikh Mansur. We know that Sheikh Mansur is the owner of Manchester City, or Manchester City is belongs to Sheikh Mansur. So the noun Manchester City from the sentence is included in the person category, but it is included in the person possessive. So the best conjunction we can use to this sentence is whose, because whose is used for person possessive. So the sentence will be like this: Manchester City, whose owner is Sheikh Mansur, won the Premier League for the sixth time. That's all for me. The next presentation will be presented by Kiagus Muhammad Rizky.
Hello guys, my name is Kiagus Muhammad Rizky. In this video, we are talking about adjective clause. Adjective clause is the words that has the same function like other adjective. Adjective clause is usually more commonly known as a relative clause. By reason of adjective clause rule is to give new information that is related with object that are the subject of the sentence. And now I will explain you guys about the characteristic of adjective clause. Same like other clauses, the first characteristic of adjective clause is has a complete subject and verbs. Then the second point is adjective clause always preceded by a relative pronoun, who, whom, whose, that, which, or relative adverb, where, when, and why. Then the third characteristic is clauses is adjective clause provides new information about nouns, subject of a sentence. Okay, next. Adjective clause in restrictive manner. An independent and dependent sentence is bound. If the dependent is lost, then the independent meaning will be affected. If the adjective clause is removed, then the meaning of the clause is different. So, in restrictive clause, the existence of the adjective clause is really important. For example, the glasses that you broke is really expensive. The glasses which you broke is an expensive sunglasses. In that clause, the adjective clause is which you broke. The glasses which you broke is an expensive sunglasses. Which you broke is the adjective clause of that clause. If the adjective clause is omitted, is lost, is removed, then the meaning of the clause will change, will be different. Okay, well, that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Let me introduce myself. My name is Bintang Thandika Pradana, and I'm from SK1B Indralaya. In here, I will tell you about something. I think this is important. Yes, non-restrictive clause. Okay, let's go. As opposed to restrictive, it doesn't matter if the adjective clause is not included. In other words, the meaning of the sentence will not change. Okay, I will bring you an example. Bintang Thandika, who have curly hair, never got mask every day. Okay. Um, in next explanation, I will tell you why should we care about non-restrictive clause. Okay, when looking at writing error, there are more issues associated with restrictive clause than non-restrictive clause. As a general observation, non-restrictive clause doesn't cost too many snacks. Nevertheless, here are two good reasons to give non-restrictive clause a little more too. Okay, I will tell you a reason what. Why? Okay, now when to use a comma before who or which. Writer often asks whether to put a comma before who and which. The answer to that question is sometimes yes and sometimes no. It depends whether the who or which has a restrictive clause or non-restrictive clause. Okay, look at the same. Okay, I will bring you an example. Okay, the first example is my brother who live in New York cough coronavirus. The sentence suggests I have just one brother. I've also told you that he live in New York, but I could have omitted the information. The status text is a non-restrictive clause. Okay, I will give you example, same example, but a lot type. Okay, let's go. My brother who live in New York cough coronavirus. Okay, in this sentence, the bold text is the bold text is restrictive clause. It specifies that I'm talking about my New York best brother, not a different brother. Okay. Remember that if you adjective clause is essential to identify its noun, then there are not comma. If it's just additional information, use comma, dash, or parenthesis, or bracket, or delete it. Okay. Okay, I will give you an example again. The example above use who, her, one with, which there is a distinction between who and which because breeds are okay. With a restrictive clause headed by which, but as a rule, American are not. If enjoy the benefit of this country, which have been very good to me. Okay, this is non-restrictive clause. It does not define the country. The word this does that job. The stated clause is just additional information. Okay, how can you govern a country which has many varieties of cheese? Okay, that is example again, so you can understand what I given here. Okay, this is a restrictive clause. It defines the country. Thus, following British English writing convention are okay with a restrictive clause headed by which, but most Americans will use that instead of which. Okay, I will tell you reason to know when to use a comma before who or which. Comma are the most common type of parenthetical punctuation, but for certain effect, you can use other. Okay, I will give you some guidelines in new slide. Okay, that's you can look at that. Okay, I think that's enough. Okay, can we go to new explanation? Okay, in your slide, you can see informal adjective clause. Okay, I will tell you sometime. I will tell you about informal adjective clause. In informal situation, we would use that rather than which or who. Okay, I will give you an example. The man that spoke to me was very worried. Rather than the man who spoke to me was very worried. Or we would omit the relative clause completely. The jacket Fred usually wears is tennis blazer rather than the jacket that Fred usually wears is a tennis blazer. This is only possible if the verb has a subject. Using whom is more formal than who. Okay, I think that's enough. Oke, wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
In informal spoken English, we normally put the preposition at the end of the relative clause. Like the example, the restaurant which we go to, or the letter that I was looking for, and a subject which I know very little about. In formal English, we can say, was that the restaurant to which we normally go? Or electronic is a subject about which I know very little. That is usually used in informal situations such as everyday conversation. In formal writing, a preposition must always precede the object of a relative pronoun. Like the example is, I remember the man that I accidentally hugged yesterday. It's informal, and the formal one is, I remember the man whom I accidentally hugged yesterday. Like what I said before, that was used for informal situation like conversation every day. So that's all our presentation today. Thank you for listening. May all those we have shared be benefit for all of us. Bye.